Hello, my name is Landon Madison and I play piano. And in this video, I'm going to be teaching you some about piano. So I'll start off by talking about the note names. So first we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to C. And just keeps repeating. So again, we have C here, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And so those are your natural keys, all the white ones. And these black ones are called sharps and flats. So I'll take this one for an example. This key right here is a C sharp, but it's also called a D flat. So a sharp is the black key to the right of a note, and a flat is the black key to the left of the note. So this key right here is a C sharp and a D flat. So we have C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, and back to C. So now I'm going to talk about how to do some simple chords. So chords are basically when you combine multiple notes and play them all at once. So we have C, E, and G all at the same time, and that makes up a C major. So we have a C major, we can do an F major, and G major. So with just those three chords, C, G, and F, you can do many different songs with just those three chords. So we have C, F, and to play an F, you combine F, A, and C. And we have a G major, and to do a G major you do a G, B, and D. So we can do all different kinds of major chords. We can also do other major chords that are a little bit more complicated because they include sharps or flats. So like D major, for an example, to play D major we do it like this. We do D, G flat, and A. And we can do an A major. We would do A, C sharp or D flat, and E. And we can also do minor chords. So I'll take C minor for an example. So we've been doing C major like this, but to make that a C minor, we would drop our third down one to an E flat. And we can do A minor, which doesn't have any flats or sharps. But if we wanted to make that an A major, we would move our third up one. So if the chord you're playing is already a minor, you would move your third up one to make it a major. And if the chord you're playing is already a major, all you would have to do to make it a minor is move your third down one. So now I'm going to talk about inversions. And inversions are basically just different ways of playing the same chord. So I could take C major for an example. And that's C major in our root inversion. And to do that in our first inversion, we would use E, which is our third right now, as our bass. So this is the same chord. This is still C major, but in our first inversion. It's the same chord, we're just reordering the notes. So root, first, and second. And we can even do different inversions in other chords, like G major for an example. There's G major in our root inversion. And here's G major in our first inversion. And here's G major in our second inversion. So now I'm going to talk about how to do sus chords. So if we wanted to do a C sus2, we would play a normal C like this, but we would move our third down to D, which is our second, and that's why we call it a C sus2 or C suspended second. And we even have suspended fourths. So I could move our third, which is E, up one to our fourth to make that a C sus4. And we can do G suspended second, for an example, like this. We would play a normal G and move our third down one. So you can even do different inversions of your minor chords. So I can take A minor for an example. We can do our A minor in the first inversion like this, and A minor in our third inversion or second inversion. So root, first, and second. So now I'm going to talk about how to do seventh chords. So let's use C major for an example. To make that a C7, we would add our seventh, which is B flat here. And that makes up our C7. So technically B flat right here isn't a perfect seventh from C like we have in our C major 7, which I'll get into later. But we can do different inversions of our sevenths like this. See, we're doing the B flat except down here instead of up here. Those are all C7s, just in different orders with the same notes. So we can also do, for an example, G7. We would play a normal G and add our seventh here. We don't do the G flat here because in our G major scale, we have one flat right here. In our G major scale, we don't play it like this. It doesn't sound right. So for our G major scale, we would include the G flat here. So that's why when we do a C7, we have this flat here. But when we do a G7, we just play an F right here. So now I'm going to talk about major sevenths. So we just play a normal C major and add our seventh right here, B. So for a normal 7, we would do the B flat, but to make that a C major 7, we would move our B flat up to a B. And we can also do a G major 7 too. So we would play a normal G major and add our seventh. So now I'm going to talk about how to do sixth chords. So for an example, C6, we would play a normal C major, and in a C major right here, G, that's our fifth, because it's 5 away from C. So right here, this is our fifth in C major. C major is 1, C is 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then G is our fifth. So to make that a C major 6, we would also add our sixth right here, which is A. And we can also do that in different inversions. So that's C major 6 in our root inversion, and then C major 6 in our first inversion. And we can also do our second. And we can even do G major 6 for an example. A normal G major, and then add our sixth right here, which should be E. We can do our first inversion. And our third. And now F major 6 for an example, we would play a normal F major and add our sixth. And we can do our first inversion. So anyway, we went over our note names, our sharps and flats. We went over how to do simple major and minor chords. We went over inversions and how to do suspended second and fourths. We went over how to do sevenths and major sevenths chords. And we went over how to do sixth chords. So, hope you may have learned something, and thanks for watching. Bye.
And that'll be all for now. And please check out my YouTube.